Have to face it.
Israeli government official arrested in Nevada in internet crimes against children sting. Wow, that sounds like a very, very serious offence, and I'm sure he was like arrested and put in prison, and he's going to get sent down for a very, very long time. Wait for it. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich was released and returned to Israel after being charged with luring a child for a sex act. Wow, I wonder how he got away with it. Is it just because he's Israeli? Well, he's not just any Israeli. Let's see if the article mentions it. An Israeli government cybersecurity official, that's kind of downplaying his role a little bit, was reportedly arrested recently by Las Vegas police and other authorities in Nevada who were conducting an undercover investigation aimed at online users seeking to sexually prey on children. Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, 38, faces felony charges of luring a child with a computer for a sex act, alongside several other suspects who were apprehended during the 2-week sting operation. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said in a statement published on Friday. He has since been released from custody on $10,000 bail after an initial court appearance, and records show, and returned to Israel. So he just left, and he's probably not going to be back. As first reported by the news site Media, I think that's meant to be Medialite, a publicly posted screenshot of Alexandrovich's page on the LinkedIn professional networking platform described him as the executive director of the Israel Cyber Directorate. He's the director. He's literally the director of the Israel Cyber Directorate. So basically, cyber defense in Israel. He's their top guy for the computer stuff. Isn't that funny? An Israeli government agency under the purview of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office. Other information online attributes the same position to Alexandrovich. The screenshot, first reported by Media, also shows a post under Alexandrovich's name alluding to his having been in Las Vegas earlier in August for the Black Hat briefings, a yearly meeting of cybersecurity professionals. Two things you can't escape at Black Hat 2025, the relentless buzz of generative AI, artificial intelligence, and the sound of Hebrew in every corridor. What did he mean by this? But anyway, Alexandrovich wrote in part in an accompanying post, invoking an abbreviation for large language models and referring to one of Israel's largest cities. The post continued, the key takeaway, the future of cybersecurity is being written in code, and it seems a significant part of it is being authored in Tel Aviv and powered by LLMs. An exciting time to be in the field. I'm sure most of the AI stuff's being generated in Tel Aviv. I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. I'm sure we'll all be fine. That LinkedIn page under Alexandrovich's name has since been deleted. The Israeli news outlet Ynet reported on Wednesday that the US had detained an employee of the Israel National Cyber Directorate for interrogation while he was representing his country at a professional conference. That employee then returned to his hotel and flew back to Israel 2 days later. Israeli officials downplayed the incident, saying it carried no political implications and was resolved quickly, Ynet reported, without naming Alexandrovich or mentioning he had been arrested in connection with a felony charge levelled against him by Nevada law enforcement officials. The reasons for the questioning remain unclear, but may relate to the employee's conduct. Ynet reported early on Saturday.
Alright. The whole fucking Lord of the Rings novel.
What exactly
Top
is
right
Zionism?
needs
Where
yet
did the
another
idea of Jewish return
Austrian
to the land of
painter
Israel,
haircut,
which came to
but
be an
his
integral part
Austrian
of
barber
Zionism
Abdul
originally?
is in
And what
Sweden,
did this return
not
mean to different
Cyprus
groups at different
Pepila.
times?
What
Was
are you
and
going to do
is
for
there
us?
more than one kind
That
of
hair
Zionism?
will turn into a double motorcycle helmet soon.
Good. Maybe I won't have to hear
For
your
starters,
fucking
we
shit.
have to know that Zionism didn't begin with Theodore.
No further links.
The roots of the Zionist idea grow deep in the land of Israel. The Jewish people's connection to the land has been at the center of their story for at least 3,000 years. For about 1,000 years, the Jewish people built a rich and thriving ancient civilization in the land. 70 CE, when the Romans destroyed the Jewish temple in Jerusalem and exiled the Jews from their land. For the 2,000 years since then, Jews scattered across the globe have been carrying a collective connection to the land of Israel and a hope to return to it. But let's go back to the beginning. According to the biblical record, the Jewish patriarchs and matriarchs made their home in the land of Israel. Their descendants, freed from Egyptian slavery, returned to the land several hundred years later. Centuries of civil war among the Israelite tribes was followed by the United Kingdom of David, and later Solomon, which centralized Jewish worship in Jerusalem with the establishment of the first temple. Of course, There are debates over the historical accuracy of many biblical stories. But what's grounded in historical fact is that the Jewish people living in Israel centuries before their exile told these foundational stories. Perhaps more importantly, these stories have been essential to Jewish identity for millennia. But back to history. After some 4 centuries of religious and national development under Jewish rule, the land was invaded by the Babylonians. Jerusalem temple was destroyed, and many Jews were exiled to Babylon. This was a period of great devastation for the ancient Jewish civilization. It was only after the Babylonian Empire fell to Persia, roughly 50 years later, that those exiled were eventually able to return in a remarkable and historic homecoming. Referred to as Shivat Zion, or the Return to Zion, this movement was initiated by the visionary leaders Ezra and Nehemiah. The Jewish community was revitalized, and the temple was rebuilt. In many ways, this shorter period of exile and return can be seen as a precursor to the ideals and ambitions of Jewish self-determination that is now known as Zionism. Jewish civilization in ancient Israel then continued for another 400 years until the Romans destroyed the Second Temple and exiled the Jewish people yet again in the 1st and 2nd centuries. This time, though, the exile would last 2,000 years. Of course, this is a fairly simplistic, condensed summary of a much more extensive ancient history. But what it all means is that for 1,000 years, the land of Israel was the center of Jewish political and cultural life and day-to-day society. So there's an ancient connection between the Jewish people and the land of Israel. But if the land is so important, then how were Jews able to remain Jews for almost 2,000 years without living there? Well, despite their distance from it, the land has always remained the geographic center of the Jewish faith and religious practice. The annual cycle of the biblical Jewish festivals are based on the agricultural cycles and seasons in the land of Israel. The Maccabean revolts commemorated by Hanukkah also occurred in the land. Biblical and post-biblical stories still studied today were rooted in the land. The rabbis that taught and developed the very foundation of Jewish practice resided in Israel. Their teachings were compiled in the 63-volume legal anthology known as the Mishnah, the basis of Jewish religious law even today, also written in Israel. Even the longing
Forsen is sponsored by APAC. I don't even know what that is.
Jewish religious, cultural, and national identity. The Jewish liturgy includes prayers 3 times a day for a collective return to and rebuilding of the land. Religious study includes ancient rites and rituals that would only apply once the Jews were to return and rebuild the temple. At the close of the Passover Seder, Jews call out "next year in Jerusalem." And each summer, on Tisha B'Av, the Jewish people mourn the destruction of the temple and their exile from the land. At Jewish weddings, the couple breaks a glass in commemoration of Jerusalem's destruction and the hope that they return to it. From country to country, throughout the diaspora,